Wakanda forever! Wakanda forever! Wakanda forever!
Yay, we are live. Thank you so much. Happy Friday, everyone. Fashion Friday, but today we are Family Talk Fridays, and we are talking about toxins in our home. How do we keep our home safe from those toxins? So I am so happy to be here today, and I'm happy that you're taking your time out to educate yourself because cancer can affect every family. And as our founder and creator of this phenomenal Woman Wealth Warriors mentioned, that 8 out of 10 women will get cancer. Wow, 8 out of 10. If am I correct on that? Like, that is too high, too high. So let's educate ourselves on how we could how we can minimize that number for sure. And one is with the toxins in our home. And I would love to introduce our special guest today. She's my friend for over 2 years. We've met each other. 1 out of 8 women will catch cancer. Thank you so much. Not 8 out of 10. I am so sorry. And I was thinking that too. Like, no, it can't be correct. So 1 out of 8. So let's minimize that. One out of 100. Okay. I would like to introduce to you my friend Joni Flynn from Florida. Joni, thank you so much for being here and being a thriver. Woo!
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be on this platform, and thank you for inviting me. I'm very passionate about sharing my story and my knowledge, and it's so important that, we share education so we can all be empowered to make some changes and, in our lives, in our home, and be as safe as we can, right?
Definitely, Joni. Thank you so much. And for those in the clubhouse and on Facebook and on YouTube, please put some pink hearts in the chat for our thriver, Joni Flynn. Thank you so much, Joni, for being here and educating us, because you educated me 2 years ago when you told me your story and about the toxins in our home. And I wasn't aware that a simple plug-in hold a lot of toxins. So
Yes.
thank you, Joni. And I would love it if you could share your story. And
Sure,
please.
I'd be happy to. So my name is Joni, and I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, and I am a breast cancer survivor, and I've been thriving for over 15 years now. And when I was diagnosed, my doctor wanted me to have a gene testing. It's called the BRCA gene, BRCA1 and 2 genes. And the reason why is because my mother also had breast cancer. So they wanted to see if there's a hereditary factor. And not only that, that BRCA1 and 2 gene is something that's shown in women that have breast cancer, but also for ovarian cancer. So that would have gave me a lot of information and some decisions that I would have to make if that test was positive, and knowing how we were going to move forward. So I got the test done, and my doctor called me into his office, and he said, "Joni, I got great news. The test came back negative." And I said, "Yes, that's great. I'm so happy." I said, "But why did I get breast cancer?" And he said, "Well, it's probably the environment." So I was like, the environment? What the heck is going on in the environment? So that set off a big red flag for me. And then when I started my radiation treatments, when I went for my consultation, we're getting everything set up. They asked me what kind of deodorant I was using, and they said, "You can't wear that because it has aluminum in your deodorant, and that will interfere with the radiation." So I'm like, "There's aluminum in my deodorant? Why is there aluminum in my deodorant?" So that was a red flag, a light bulb moment. And I said to myself, I need to find out what is going on, what's in our products, what's going on in the world that's causing all this cancer. So I've done a ton of research, went to tons of lectures, and just got so much information. And the first thing I kind of learned was about parabens. And parabens are basically hormone disruptors. And I was told to avoid those because it mimics estrogen. And my cancer was driven by estrogen. I was tested estrogen positive. So I just started off on this journey of learning about all these different chemicals that were around every single day. I mean, they're in our home, they're in our what we're putting in our body, on our body. You know, I learned that everything we put on our skin gets absorbed into our bloodstream and goes to every organ in our body. I didn't know. I didn't know. So I just became an advocate pretty much for learning this and sharing it, because I think it's so important, like I said before, that we're educated. We have to be mindful consumers. So I just did a post today, and I would love to just share this for a second with you guys. So 168. That's the number of chemicals the average woman is exposed to on a daily basis, even before she leaves her bathroom when she gets ready for the day. And no, she's not cleaning it. Can you believe that? So while not all those 168 chemicals are harmful, the components that are lurking in your makeup, perfume, lotions, laundry detergents, and dryer sheets can range from fragrances, parabens, BHTs, formaldehyde. And that can be pretty darn scary, right?
Yeah.
So being an informed consumer is important when it comes to what goes into the body and what labels is just, and knowing about labels and knowing what's inside those products, right? So they can be liver compromising and potentially cancer causing formaldehydes, phthalates, and parabens, and they're plentiful. You can find them in all your lotions, moisturizers, shampoos, soaps, deodorants, all of it, right? And many have been linked to breast cancer and other malignancies, you know, kidney damage, and even our mental health, right? Because these hormone disruptors are definitely affecting our emotional and mental well-being. So while everything in small amounts is not detrimental, but it's the consistency and the amounts, you know, that lead over time that develop into health problems later on. So, you know, remember, everything that we put on our skin gets absorbed. So it's not just the lotions, body washes, and perfumes, but it's also the clothing on your body that is washed in super scented soap, and then doused in fabric softener, topped off with scented beads, and finished with static cling resistant dryer sheets. Right? It's overload. And that's what's happening. Our bodies are becoming into this toxic overload. So just think about it for a minute. How many things go on your body before you leave the house?
Wow, Joni.
Right?
That is eye opener for sure. Uh, Even leaving your bathroom, how many toxins do we have on our body before we leave our bathroom again?
168.
168 toxins. And you started teaching me about the lotions, even the lotions. And deodorant and how it has aluminum in the deodorant. After I started talking to you, and you did one amazing thing is your own research. You started researching and finding the answers. We can never, ever stop looking for answers. If there's something happening to our body, we got to continually search, because
Right.
if something doesn't work for me, doesn't mean it's not going to work for you, because we're all different. Our DNAs are all different, our chemistry is all different. And try I would always encourage someone to try something, um, continue trying, period. So
Yeah.
I made the uh, organic coconut oil with baking soda for deodorant.
Yes, there are simple things that we can do, and I'm known as the ditch and switch queen. So ditching the chemicals and switching to something more natural, and it's a process. I mean, I recommend people to start small and maybe just pick a couple of things to start off with, to remove and replace. Starting off even like with your personal care products, and that could be very, very difficult for women because we're attached. We're attached to the makeup that we've been using for a long time, or we're attached to, perfumes, all our female beauty products, right? So it is hard, but I recommend people like start with the household cleaners. Start there because they're the most dangerous, pretty much. And I wanted to share a study also that I heard about, and it's regarding bleach. So this study was done with women that they were going to use bleach, cleaning their house for 1 week for 20 years, right? This is a 20-year study. So the study concluded that the women who were using the bleach to clean their home, their lungs were that of a smoker that smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Their lungs were identical.
Wow, Joni. Clorox?
So, yeah, bleach. Yeah, Clorox bleach. Yes. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I can't even stand the smell of like so many of the chemicals just give me a headache. So I never really, could be around them too much either. It just automatically was way too much for it overloaded me. I would get migraines, and I'm like, I got to get out of the room. It's just too strong, So like I said, it's just not like, the Clorox and these, it's all these things that we're using, over time that do the damage, and it's like, some things we can't control, like, the paint that's already on our wall, the house we moved into, the carpeting that's there. Then there's foods with pesticides and herbicides and stuff like that too. So when we're exposed over time, that's when bad things happen, and that's when our bodies go into toxic overload.
That's right, Joni. Toxic overload. We want to avoid that, and by, just like I said, educating ourselves, removing things little by little. You mentioned that, Joni. It
Yeah.
can get overwhelming, but one thing at a time.
I think I have a list here, and it's funny because it was like the first 3 things that I ditched and switched. And the first one, I don't know, you might find this like surprising, but like a vinyl shower curtain.
Really?
Yes, a vinyl shower curtain. So there's that new plastic smell when you open that up. I mean, I haven't used one in years, but I remember all this because there's actually a toxic gas that builds up in the packaging.
Wow.
And that's being released into the air. And it also has polyvinyl chlorides, it's PVCs. So when that gets like heated up when you're taking a shower, so it emits the toxins, it's dioxin. So it's highly toxic.
Wow.
And it also could cause cancer. It could harm the immune system, your reproductive systems. And so a simple swap is just to throw that out and get a cloth shower curtain, right?
Wow.
Or put glass in it, depending on what kind of shower situation you have, you know. And then the second one was Windex. So Windex contains ammonia and other chemicals that are very irritating to the skin, to your eyes, the respiratory system, can cause headaches, migraines. And I always remember the movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Did you see that movie? The father kept spraying Windex all over on everything. He kept using that. It was so funny. I'm like, he's spraying toxins all over. Oh my God. So a simple swap is just to use vinegar, you know, instead of cleaning your glass, and clean it with vinegar and lemon, you know, or lemon essential oil. And then the air fresheners, you know, like those plug-ins, and, you know, any of those, like those little trees you hang in your car. Anytime I got into someone's car, I'm like, oh, please. But you know, an easy way to, candles also, you know, they contain fragrance and all kinds of bad things they emit into the air. So you can just swap that, ditch that, swap it out for like using an essential oil diffuser, you know, using that, or making your own room sprays, you know. So, and one other thing I wanted to share today, which is really important, and it's funny because I had switched out so many things and got, you know, no parabens, no phthalates, I had all these products, and I thought that they were good. And then there's an app that you can get. It's called, it's through the EWG, which is Environmental Working Group, and it's called Think Dirty. And you're able to scan like the barcodes on your products and get a whole readout of everything, all the ingredients that are listed there, and it gives it a rating. You know, red is dangerous, you know. So I started scanning the products that I had that I thought were good, and they failed. And you know why? Because of the word fragrance. Okay, there's a little loophole between the FDA and manufacturers, where the manufacturer, all they have to do is list that one word in the ingredient list, fragrance, but it's not just one thing. It could be over up to 2,000 different chemicals just in that one word. Wow. So anything that has fragrance on in the product on there, on the ingredient list, ditch it. Isn't that scary?
Joni, no fragrance for us. How? Okay, so you mentioned perfumes and things like that. So ever since, you know, you mentioned that back when I made my own kind of oils. I started using the oils as perfume instead of
pure fume. I call it pure fume.
Pure fume. I love it. And so I would mix the oil with a little bit of water and shake it up, and that is just a nice little room freshener and on top of me as well.
Absolutely.
Perfumes.
Yeah, absolutely. Great choice.
But what if anybody in the Clubhouse or in YouTube, Facebook have any questions for Joni? Now is the time to ask. Because
ask away.
Yes, ask away. Let's educate ourselves. That questions are so important, and not any question is a dumb question either. So never think your question is not valid, because every question is valid. But I have a question for you, Joni. Now, you educated us on the things in our bathrooms. How about in our cleaning closets? But how about in our kitchen? What kind of things are we consuming that are toxins that come from our kitchen? Take it away, Joni.
Okay. First of all, what's in your dishwasher? What are you cleaning your dishes with? Ooh. Right? You got to look into that. What are you, just the dish soap, okay? That's another thing. The dishwasher, and what are you cleaning your dishes in the sink with, okay? You got to be mindful of that, because that's where all chemicals are also lurking. So what else can be in your kitchen? Your pots and pans. There are certain pots and pans that contain dangerous chemicals in them too. I could do a whole nother thing just on that. But let's see, what else is in the kitchen? Do you have any questions, anything specific that you're thinking about? And maybe I can offer you a swap for ditching something. What do you think?
Swap for ditching something. Well, I was thinking of the foods that we eat.
Yes.
Now, you
yes.
taught me a great tip on our fruits and vegetables. And there's a tag on those fruits and vegetables that we have to be aware of. Can you share that?
Oh, like the labels you're talking about? Oh yeah. Let's see. I don't remember them offhand, but there's, if it begins with a 9, it's organic. And there, I can't remember, but there is one. You know how you have all the vegetables and fruits have those little codes on them, right? Mm-hmm. And there's one that has GMOs. I think it begins with an 8. Yeah, I can't remember honestly, yes. But yes, there is. You know, those labels are important too. You know, we want to try and have organic as much as we can because you know they're sprayed with herbicides, pesticides, and everything. And it not only that, but like our fruits and vegetables just aren't as nutrient dense as they used to be years ago. You know, a tomato is not a tomato like it was 20 years ago because the soil has just been depleted with all the nutrients in it. Yeah.
That's right.
Soil. Yeah. So it's definitely changed the soil, changed the taste. Even like, tomatoes and bananas, like they just don't taste the same as they did, years ago. It's pretty scary. It is. Organic is the best way to go. It is a little pricier, but it's cheaper than your sick care. I'd rather invest in wellness than illness,
Invest in wellness instead of illness. I love that. And when I go into the grocery store, because you taught me, stay away from the 8s. When I look at my fruit and vegetables, I look at the tags and because sometimes it says organic, but somebody could have put that product there, So
yeah, make sure it has the organic label on it.
That's right.
Yeah, because that happens a lot. Somebody might, pick up an apple and walk over and say, "Oh, it's organic. Let me drop that there and grab an organic one or something." That can definitely happen. So, are there any questions coming in for me at all? I mean, on your end, can you see anything? I just see a comment there.
Okay, we have a question in the clubhouse. Let's see. Go ahead, take it away.
Sorry, this is Deborah. So I've been putting essential oils on a lot of these as my bracelets. Thoughts on that?
Lava beads, Joni.
Yeah, that's a great thing. It's funny you mentioned essential oils because that's a whole nother thing that you have to educate yourself in. Not all essential oils are alike. Most of them on the market are adulterated. I think they're obligated to say they can just be like 5% of pure essential oil in it for them to advertise on their bottle that it's 100% pure. I've learned a lot about essential oils over the years too, because I started out in the grocery store. I didn't know any better. I just thought, but I wasn't having any results with them either. So that's the other thing. So you got to do your homework on that. I could do a whole class and teach you all about that. It's kind of lengthy, like to get into this right now, but yeah. So, diffusing is great. I mean, you benefit from the oils, you breathe them in, they support our body systemically, whether it's respiratory, digestive, but to use them, that's what I use for fragrance on my body, in my home, to purify the air in my home, make it smell good. There's tons of therapeutic benefits to essential oils. You just have to do your research on that and make sure you go with a company that is completely transparent. They're there. And I can recommend something, but I'm not here to do that today.
That's right, Joni. Educate yourself. And that was a great question from Deborah.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Deborah. We have another question from Tanya. Tanya asks, what are your thoughts on baking soda, Joni?
Baking soda, as far as I know, I think that's a great choice to use. It's natural, so you can clean your stove with that. You can clean your countertop, mix it with a little vinegar. Actually, I clean my sink that way, my stainless steel sink. I use some baking soda, vinegar, and lemon essential oil. And not only that, the lemon also disinfects and, deodorizes, and it makes it nice and shiny too. But it really, you get the abrasion from the baking soda. And then the vinegar, when it hits it, it all bubbles up and everything. So it's really great for cleaning, like the inside of your stove, or if you have a glass countertop, glass stove top, the sink. Excellent, excellent.
Definitely vinegar and baking soda together are a great cleaning solution. That's what I've been using ever since you taught me, Joni.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I didn't know you've been doing all this, Janet. Great.
Joni, oh my God. People might not think how you impact people by just sharing your story. And that's another thing. We should always share those encounters, because of you, I was more aware of the toxins in my home. And I started changing things little by little.
And it's important to read labels. I educate people about how to read labels too. It's something that I do, because it's really important to know everything, especially those nutrition labels that are on, every product that we have. If you're trying to avoid sugar, they hide it. They hide it with different words, So, I teach people about that too. So it's important that we are all, wise consumers.
Wise consumers is right. And you mentioned something so important: reading our labels, reading the labels. And unfortunately, we have so much processed foods. And I've been just recently reading my labels, these past 3 years, when I was diagnosed with arthritis, and realizing that the foods I was consuming was causing that. So definitely started reading labels. And I just want to appreciate everyone here in Clubhouse. Apostles in the house. Oh my goodness. Patricia, Deborah, Dr. Sheila, Vilma, Tanya, our Queen Renee, our founder, Renee Noor. I am here with my friend Joni Flynn, a thriver, a survivor, and a warrior herself. I would love to hear from also, I would like to recognize Tahita's in the house, and Silk. She's one of our blind warriors, Joni. Silk, oh my goodness. She's out of New York.
Woo! That's where
I'm
from.
Over there on the East Coast. You guys are East Coast. So I want to thank you so much, Joni, for being here. But one more question. When it comes to, now, you mentioned something big when it comes to women not letting go of their regular routines, as in our makeups and lotions and things like that. Now, when it comes to makeup and putting it on our faces, a lot of us do it daily, every day. We have to put it on. What kind of things do you recommend when it comes to makeup?
Well, that was one of the trickiest things for me when I was going through my cancer journey, once I found all this stuff out. And I didn't wear makeup for a long time, because I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't know what was safe. I think I started using mineral makeup at first, but then found out that wasn't the best choice. So I don't know if I should really mention all these, name products. Maybe we could do this another time where I could mention brand names or something. I know a few, but I don't know. Do you want me to say that here, or I don't know if this is the right platform or right thing that you're looking for, but yeah, you need to do your research on that too, and go with a clean company. Okay. That has, and there's essential oils. I mean, not for makeup, but skincare, that are very good. Frankincense. There's a lot of ones that are really good for skincare with essential oils. But for as far as makeup, it's you got to do your research on that too. So you can't really make that at home.
I know, right? Right, Joni?
So you're going to ditch the chemicals and just have something that's clean and safe and, not toxic.
Right? And actually, speaking of Silk, by the way, she's from Dallas. Let me get that right. I forgot. She's from Dallas, but she's makeup artist. And I want to know, Silk, are you available to speak on things that are not toxic when we do our makeup? Silk, are you available to speak? Thank you.
I'm here, but I'm sick.
Oh no, I hope you get better, Silk.
So I'm just supporting. I would love to speak, but I don't want to. I do not want to ruin the stage without my coffee and stuff. But yes, there's a lot of things that you can do so that you got to remember your skin is the largest organ that
Yes.
that's on the human body. So everything that you use, everything that you put onto your skin, lotions, perfumes, dishwashing soap, everything that you use can be penetrated into the skin. Not everything, because sometimes you have to have a certain so hold on just a second, Mom. I'm sorry, I take care of my mom. But there are certain things that has to be a certain level, but a lot of things can be penetrated, and that's a lot of toxicity. So be careful of things you use. Read the ingredients, know your ingredients, even as lotions, your soaps, your even baby products, foods that you eat, packaged foods. A lot of those things are toxins. So when you're talking about the skin, and make sure that you're doing your lymphatic drainage, and know how to do it correctly, because a lot of things is more than just rub it on your neck or massaging up under your arms. If you don't do it correctly, since some areas can get blocked. So I would say invest in your skin, because your skin tells you a lot about what's going on with you, from your nails to your eyebrows. If your eyebrows are not full and completely going out to the edges, that's a signal that's telling you some things that are wrong. So as far as makeup, make sure you do your research on makeup. Just because it's a popular brand doesn't mean that all the ingredients are conducive to healthy skin. Make sure that you're cleaning your utensils that harbor bacteria, your brushes, your sponges. Make sure that when you dip your hand into any of your product, know that your hand must be clean. But even still, you can wash your hands and they're still, removing all the bacteria. So be sure that you're scraping out, like if you go to use foundation or powder or whatever it is, scoop a little bit out of it onto a tray and then use it from there. So yes, your skin is very, 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 very important into your healing. And also next to that is, remember, everything that you consume has a lot of has to do with inflammation. So inflammation is one of the signs of disease. So when you say the skin is disease, it has to do with a lot of inflammation. Your gut, the processing of your gut, your liver. Think about your drainage system. All right, guys, let me go.
Silk, we hope you feel better, Silk. Thank you so much.
Feel better.
Yes, thank you, Silk.
Yes, God bless you. God bless you. Speedy recovery.
Big time, speedy recovery. Thank you, Apostle, for that. That was beautiful, beautifully said. And thank you, Joni, so much. We hold this space for 1 hour every day, and then from the live, we go onto our clubhouse. But Joni, Silk mentioned about lymphatic drainage. You actually taught me about that. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that's really important. I did I think it was during the pandemic, I did this 7-day lymphatic summit. So yeah, it's really important to have clear pathways for, it's basically, the way we drain everything, our toxins and everything. So dry brushing is one of the common things. I think that's what she was talking about. She didn't say exactly dry brushing, but yeah, doing that correctly is really important. There's a technique and a brush style that you're supposed to use towards your heart, and starting off with your extremities, your feet, your legs, and going up your body to always towards your heart. And you can use essential oils with that too. And you're supposed to do that before you shower. I learned some other things about how you can do that too. And another good way is like those rebounder trampolines. Those are really good for jumping. It really helps your lymphatic system. And in like yoga, when you do like legs up the wall, that's really good too. To hold your legs up, on the wall, or just put them above your heart for a while for like 5 minutes is really good. Way to actually, get your lymphatic drainage systems open. And a lot of women have problems after breast cancer with that, especially if they've had lymph nodes removed, they're located underneath your armpit here above your breast. And if they're cancerous, they have to remove those. And what happens is now it's all clogged up. So your lymphatic system drainage is not draining properly. And you can get, what is it called? Not cellulitis, lymphedema. So my mom had that really bad, and she still has it. So her whole arm is swollen. You have to have a lymphatic drainage therapy done, a massage kind of thing, a drainage, and having to wear like a compression sleeve too for that. So yeah, that's really important. Lymphatic drainage and keeping things moving, and just jumping around and being on that rebounder. If you got one of those, it's kind of fun.
I do have one of those, and I get on there. I try to get on there every day.
For those Tony Robbins events, right? You jump on those.
We had so much fun, and there's something about that, about what Tony says. Pick up the energy. Let's jump around, and it just. It changes the energy within us when we do that. It gets us all excited, and it's so much fun being in a Tony Robbins platform and getting to meet you, Joni. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it. You're a beautiful friend, and it's so great that you have this kind of platform to share knowledge with everybody and all these beautiful women. And I saw all the pink hearts coming in, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. It's very sweet of you all, and be safe, and it's important that we prevent breast cancer as well, and do all the right things for preventative care. And for me, it's not only that, but it's recurrence. I had to really be mindful about having a recurrence. But anyway, thank you all so much. I really enjoyed being here today. And thank you so much, Janet, for having me.
Thank you, Joni. And really quick, we have one last question. Now, oh my goodness. They asked, what do you think about furniture?
Yes.
Furniture.
Believe it or not, there how many toxins are in our furniture and in our mattresses. It's because of the flame retardant. They put these chemicals so that, if you have a fire, you're not going to, burn. So our mattresses are highly toxic for that reason. And yes, furniture and the fabric is treated, so in case there's a fire that, or somebody drops a cigarette, people smoking on the couch. So yeah, they can be very toxic too. So it's crazy. They're everywhere. And some of the things that we don't even think about. But yeah, when I heard about that, I'm like, oh my God. So
wow,
little by little. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Whoever brought that up, that's really, really important. And there are companies that make non-things. I hear it's hard to get a mattress, but you can get them. And I know people who do. And, because that's something we sleep on. We're, in bed like 8 hours a night, every single night. So that's something really important. We're laying on it, too.
Great point, Joni. Thank you so much. And thank you for that question in our YouTube channel. We appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this conversation, please put some pink hearts in the chat, because we are going to be going into Clubhouse. And Joni, if somebody needs to get in touch with you for some more information, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. I am on Instagram for oils, 4 healthy living, or you can search my name, Joni. My last name is Flynn. I also have a Facebook business, and it's under Joni Flynn Natural Solutions Specialist. They can find me there. I'd be happy to help you with any kind of questions and give you some examples for some DIYs and help you switch out. Ditch and switch. Ditch and switch.
Woo, woo, woo! Ditch and switch. I love it, Joni. Thank you so much. And I be leaving Joni's link to her Instagram as well if anybody's interested for that. Thank you, Joni, again, my sweet friend. And I am sure you will be back because this information, you are just full of a plethora
Yeah.
of
I
information.
got a lot more, but we only have a short amount of time, you know?
Exactly. To be continued, right, Joni?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Have a
Joni.
beautiful, blessed day, everybody.
Thank you. Yes. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you so much for being a part of a Global Women Wealth Warriors Facebook and YouTube page. Please join us in Clubhouse. And if you need a link to that, just put it in the chat. We will connect you to that Clubhouse. Clubhouse is so much fun, and you connect with people all over the world. And not just that, you connect with people all over the world, but you hear stories of empowerment and inspiration, and you too will be inspired. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay wealthy, and stay strong. Never stop educating yourself. Bye.